was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again. I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. Reality is that the cartoon was made 85 years ago, and therefore it's extremely dated when it comes to the ideas of women being in roles of power.
I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess. I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
But it's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows?
So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't have anything against this young, dumb Hollywood actress. She is not the problem. I know that a lot of people are hating on her, and I don't care if you do, honestly. Yeah, she's an idiot, and she's an entitled, narcissistic, spoiled brat that doesn't understand the impact and significance of history and these folklores and these stories that are classics and stand the test of time. She is a brain-rotted imbecile. But it's not her. It's not one person. This is not some random Hollywood bimbo just running her mouth. This is part of the Hollywood system. This is the marketing teams. This is the corporations. This is from start to finish, from the actors to the writers to the producers to the casting directors. Every step of the way. This is the culture of Hollywood. So you cannot come and rip this one woman apart as though she were responsible for the whole thing. Now, again, and I will reiterate this, yes, she is a brat. Yes, she is an egotist. Yes, she is ignorant to the point of miracle. It is astonishing to me how somebody could not only disrespect the legendary Snow White, which is such a perfectly told story. I don't want to get too deep into Snow White itself because that's not the point. But Snow White is a story where you have this beautiful woman. It's not Snow White, it's the queen. The queen is beautiful. She's the queen. She has all of this power. Not just political power because she's the queen. She has magical power. She could do whatever she wants. But she's tormented. She is in agony, in misery. Because there's this other woman who isn't really a threat to her, isn't doing anything. It's just very beautiful, very attractive. But she has a heart of gold. She's a very decent, kind, compassionate person. She's a very feminine, pure, demure woman. And she treats other people with kindness, and the whole point of the story is that the witch is ultimately done in by her own revolting characteristics. And the witch, or the queen rather, reveals herself to be a witch, reveals the ugliness within, reveals that what's inside of her is this ugly old woman. And in the end, what ends up saving Snow White is love. It's love. And you can see from this woman here, she has no love. There is no love within her. There is no light. You can tell when people are just genuinely good people. You can see light almost radiating out of them. I'm not talking literally. They're not luminescent. But you can tell radiant, good, decent people. And this is not one of them. This is a woman that is running her mouth about something she doesn't understand and doesn't care about. She's getting paid, and most importantly, the opinions that she's getting off are probably opinions that she's heard hundreds of times from other Hollywood actors at these private parties, They probably shit on the things that you and I love all the time. And she's just saying it because she's young and she's an idiot. And she doesn't understand the significance of any of what she's saying, positive or negative. She doesn't get it. But it's not just her, because Hollywood supports her position. Yeah, Snow White's 84 years old, or however many years old. It's problematic. It's not up to date with the current code, which is to remove the heart and soul and meaning of classics and replace them with easily digestible, bland, soulless, godless, humanless pieces of entertainment that you can consume in the short term and then be ready for next product, be ready for next movie. There is no staying power. There is no substance. You will not remember it in T-minus 10 minutes. There is no nutritional value. This is essentially the McDonald's of media and art. This is the corporate, what do you want to call it? The corporatification, the corporatization, whatever you want to call it. This is taking authentic, pure works of human genius and soul and examining how deep the human soul goes and replacing it with this just easily consumable, disgusting, poorly made, poorly crafted slop. It's the difference between a fine dining meal and you getting your food slopped in the trough. I think this woman has a lot of issues. If I were Disney, I would fire her immediately, distance myself, and recast her in the movie. But isn't it interesting that this is the type of woman they always go with? They never make a mistake in the opposite direction. They never pick a woman who's too feminine, who's too attractive in terms of her traits and her physical appearance. No, they never pick a woman who is actually solid. They pick these creepy looking, eyes too far apart, loud mouthed, ignorant, bombastic bimbos that are genuinely too stupid to understand how stupid what they're saying actually is. Too ignorant of history and literature to recognize how preposterously offensive what they're saying is. That we need to change all literature to meet some ridiculous standard set forth by Hollywood today, and women like this, I was standing in a dress for a bunch of hours, so I should get paid for every hour that this movie streams. This is why wokeness and identity politics, while they may make inroads, they will always result in failure in the long term. Because it is an insidious, repugnant, foul ideology that is instantly offensive to some, and other people have been sitting in the muck for so long, it takes them a while to acclimatize, but eventually it gets to the point where they're like, okay, even I'm out. The reality is that this movie is likely going to bomb at the box office, not just because of her, not her on her own, but she is a contributing factor, but because the system didn't do anything to correct the problem. She should have been denounced by Disney. Is that we fully support the classic work that is Snow White, and we look forward to giving audiences a live-action retelling of this beloved cult classic. They have an opportunity to make a change at every point they've had a chance to change. But they never have learned from their mistakes. They always double down. They double down. That's what they do. Like the KFC sandwich that's going to kill you, they double down. And eventually their company comes to a point where I get a reaction to the Disney investor call. It was a bloodbath. It was horrific. Bob Iger having to basically tap dance while juggling a bunch of stuff to save it, to save face. Oh, we've cut this many billions. We're rolling this back. We're shrinking. It's like, he's like, oh, the ship is only sinking this fast, guys. No, nothing to see here. The lifeboats are they're right there. I mean, it doesn't have to be this way. The way that you save yourself is, first of all, by keeping yourself as far away from young, loudmouth retards that look like some kind of alien creature. Their eyes are so far apart. I don't understand. Is this some kind of like genetic mutation? I don't get it. But anyway, that's a tangential side point as I'm looking at this woman's face. The point here is that this woman is reflective of a set of political beliefs, a set of cultural beliefs, a set of values that is not shared by the majority of the country and by a majority of the world. Most of the world doesn't agree with this woman, doesn't think that things from the past are icky and bad and need to be modernized. Most people want to cherish the past. They look at it and they say, wow, there were some pretty great things that came out of the past. We are where we are today. The good and the bad, but mostly the good, because of the sacrifices of people in the past. The literary works that existed before are better than what's being created today. And maybe that's part of the bitterness, the envy. You have young people today that are so envious that they can't create anything even approaching the quality of what came before. So now they want to burn it all down, torch it all down for their own ego. Well, I'm here to say no. No, you can't do it. And the CEOs have to grow a set and say no too. They say, no, we're going to have a live action Snow White remake, and you know what? It's going to be faithful to the original, and it is going to be about true love. And the woman is going to be feminine. And if you have a problem with it, get the fuck out. You're fired. You're never working in this town again. That's the appropriate response. And I just want to say one thing. This is completely tangential. I've seen a lot of people put titles in their video called Snow Brown. Like, oh, Snow White, Snow Brown. No. No. You don't understand. The whole point of Snow White, I mean, aside from the fact that it's referring to her purity and also her skin color, Snow White is the descriptor. You say Snow White. You don't say Snow Brown, ever. You say dirt brown. So the appropriate thing would be to call her Dirt Brown. Snow White, Dirt Brown. Unless you want to say Dirt Snow, which again doesn't make sense to the reference of this. But I just see people doing that. They're like, okay, well, I'm just going to change the word white. Like Snow White, Snow Brown. It's a tangential thing that was irritating because the whole point was it was referring to the color. Snow White is a reference to the color white. How white is it? It's Snow White. Pure white. If you were to say brown, you would use another descriptor. You say dirt brown, earth brown, maybe. If dirt is too demeaning for people, which I don't understand why it would be. You just grow all your food in the dirt. You live because of the dirt. You're a meat eater. The cows eat the grass in the dirt. So, that is a completely tangential thing. But it was irritating when I saw all of these people putting snow brown. It's like, yeah, I get what you're doing, but no. Anyway, yeah, I think that Disney, if they want to save their brands, they have to be authentic and faithful to the original. They have to be authentic and faithful to the visuals of the original work. So, for example, if you have The Little Mermaid and you decide, you know what, we're hemorrhaging cash, So we're going to make a live action remake because, people love The Little Mermaid. Let's change the way that The Little Mermaid looks and let's make her, again, an oddly, eyes spread apart actress. I don't know if this is a conspiracy theory, but Halle Bailey also has like fish eyes, like on the sides of her head. Don't understand this. Is this like a phenomenon? These women look like aliens. I can't be the only one who sees this. This isn't some conspiracy theory. I'm just saying, man. Anyway, the point here is that you have these beloved pieces of work that require you to be authentic with them, because why not just create something new then? Well, because you want to use the name Snow White, but you don't want to put in the work to create something new. But there's a way to do that too. Do you understand? There's a way to do what you want. And people in Hollywood are too arrogant and too stupid to figure this out. I talked about this in a previous video. If you wanted to have a black mermaid, you can do it. It's genius. Here's what you do. This is a multi-billion-dollar idea. You don't recast the characters of The Little Mermaid. You do a spin-off movie. And you have it be called something like Under the Sea, a Little Mermaid story. But it's not about that Little Mermaid. It's about another Little Mermaid. And it just so happens that Sebastian and Flounder are called in by King Triton to send them to a mission on a different part of the world, to go send a message to his brother. King Triton has a brother. His brothers rule different parts of the sea. So, different parts of the sea. Do you know what that allows you to do? Change the visuals. You can have the visuals be whatever you want. If you wanted to have a kingdom under the sea in China or in India or anywhere else, you could. And guess what? You can change the races of the mer people along with wherever you're going, because each country, each nation has stories of people that look like them being ensnared by creatures like mermaids who look Chinese, who look Indian. But my version would have King Triton's brother be played by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And you could get Halle Bailey to be played by his daughter. And then it would explain why she's black. Because The Rock is black. And her mother could be black. So then you don't have King Triton with one daughter from every single race looking like he just screwed up a bunch of women. Which, I mean, is hilarious. Don't get me wrong. You're like, King Triton wasn't really faithful to Ariel's mother. He was just, sleeping around, sleeping with the fishes. But this one, you could actually have a coherent story where Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is Triton's brother. And, The Rock is always fun. The Rock is always down for playing a role. And here's the part that goes even beyond that. You have The Rock be a badass in that movie, and you could even do a crossover where you get Jason Momoa as Aquaman, and you do a crossover with The Rock as a king of the sea, but a different part of the sea, a multiverse crossover. I mean, you could make it happen. You don't think that would generate money? You don't think people would go and see a movie where Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, playing a king of the sea, teams up with Jason Momoa as the king of Atlantis, Aquaman, to go and stop some big bad? You don't think so? These two Samoan badasses, heavyweights, huge celebrities on screen with both Tritons. I mean, holy shit. Tritons. I don't mean Tritons. You don't think that it could be done? Oh, I tell you what, it could be done. But the first thing that you have to do is get rid of women like this. Get rid of people like this. Get them out. Show them the door. They're fired. Their ideology, their irreplaceable. I'm sorry. Their incredibly replaceable attitude. I had a brain fart for a moment. I was thinking about two different words, and I ended up kind of mixing them together. But the point is that these people are expendable. They are to be done away with and replaced with people that are passionate about your company and your brand and appreciate what you're doing for them and appreciate the works of the past and want to make it good. Henry Cavill coming on to The Witcher was the best thing that ever happened for that franchise because he was passionate and he wanted to be there. You got to find people like that. You have to look at women like this and you look at her attitude and you say, are you fucking kidding me? You ungrateful, loudmouth, low-class idiot. Get out. You're costing us billions. You're disrespecting our property, our franchise. You're ungrateful. You're unworthy. You are banished forever. Yeah, that's it. That's how you save it. That's how you bring it back. You just got to get rid of this trash. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you so much. You have no idea. I appreciate the people who watch this, who stick around, who care enough to still be invested. Anyway, on that note, I will bid you guys a good day, and I will see you next time.